Well, it's only been a few minutes, but I'm back for another brief, what I'm going to call a Tom talk, not a TED talk, a Tom talk, THTTHC talk. My last discussion was about basically universal basic income to solve the problem of poverty. This talk is going to be about the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, and how it is being abused, but how it could be used as a tool for great good in a true democratic system. We have grown to believe that networks own bandwidth. In other words, NBC owns the bandwidth it uses to broadcast, as do all of the other networks. They own it, but that's not at all the case. We own it. We, the people, own the bandwidth, all of the potential bands. We own them. We elect people who appoint people to control them for the benefit of all of us. Those people are the FCC, the members of the Federal Communication Commission who are appointed. When you think about it, the FCC does an important job by not permitting certain things like child porn, snuff films, from being broadcast. What they don't do is control what other materials are broadcast on commercial media. Probably the most important thing that they don't control are campaign ads. When you think about it, in a political campaign, at a larger, anything that's national campaign, even for U.S. senators and members of the House of Representatives within a state, and gubernatorial campaigns within a state, and certainly presidential elections, most of the money that is spent by the campaign, these campaigns for these various offices, is spent in purchasing ads on broadcast media. That is, media whose content is controlled by the FCC. The reason for this is the only way that we can get our ideas out to, well, of course, I'm using this podcast as a mini form of getting my ideas out, but the way that most effective way of getting others to know what you're thinking is to purchase time on broadcast media. So, of course, that's why Super Bowl ads are so expensive, because so many eyeballs are watching the Super Bowl. And the ads are purchased, and the broadcast companies that purchase that bandwidth controls what gets put on that bandwidth, and therefore what me or you or us, the viewers, get to see. So a rough estimate of how much money is spent on broadcast media advertising during a major political campaign is about 90%, 80 to 90%, because that's the way that candidates get their information out there, get other people to see them and hear what they have to say. If Jesus himself or Buddha came down, or Muhammad, or Moses, or Abraham, or whoever, came down today and had no access to broadcast media, they'd probably make a ripple locally. But if no one or very few people got their message, they would die, and their message would be become part of the rings of Saturn, would dissipate into the void. If they had enough money, they could buy a network and broadcast their message to the world. The secret is the money. And that's why, of course, we contribute to political campaigns, because we want our favorite candidates' ideas to win the election, and for other people to get those ideas, to understand those ideas. The campaign has to spend money buying time from the network and broadcasting our message to the people. Therefore, the campaign with the most money generally wins. And in a two-party system, both campaigns have a lot of money, so the only campaign ads you'll see are those that were purchased by one of those two groups that got the money. Well, this system means that that the golden rule prevails, that he who has the gold rules, and that the only messages that we, the viewer, get to see are messages from one of those two extremely wealthy groups. So therefore, we don't hear messages from entities that have no money, because the broadcasters sell their advertising, and political advertising is expensive. A better system, one that I propose to get from here to there, as I explained in a previous talk, a better system would be for the FCC to not allow snuff films, child porn, or political advertising to be purchased. Political advertising is not something that you can buy, or you should not be allowed to buy. But to get a license to broadcast, we, the people, should demand that the people that want to have a license to broadcast, let's say Fox or NBC or MSNBC or CBS or ABC or whatever, that to get a license, you would not only have to pay whatever the amount is you pay to get to lease that broadcast width from we the people, but you would have to agree to designate a certain period of time, let's just say 5 minutes an hour, to political messages that were created by candidates, and then each candidate would have an equivalent amount of time before the camera or before the eyeballs of the viewers, and then the trick would be to become a candidate. Well, the candidates for office right now in the system that we have, if you're the Democratic candidate, then you get a free pass. Or if you're the Republican candidate, you get a free pass. But if you're anybody else, you have to get enough names on a petition to become a candidate. But once you've done that, you can get your name on the ballot. Well, everyone who can get past that hurdle to get their name on the ballot should have an equal representation in terms of the time allotted them through broadcast media. And the system that I just described would level the playing field. So a person that represented a non-moneyed group of people but got enough signatures on their petition would have just as much access to the eyeballs of the viewers as an extremely wealthy or well-funded candidate like the Republican candidate or the Democratic candidate. Therefore, we, the viewer, would have access to the information given by all of the candidates in equal proportion, at least through broadcast media. And that must be the most important way to get a message out, because that's where most campaign funds in major campaigns are spent, in buying eyeballs, buying viewer time through purchasing ads on broadcast media. It's a simple plan. Another step on the road to there. I'll talk to you again later.